Good afternoon, everyone. It's your English class, and today we are going to study our next poem, that is Nature the Greatest Mother Is, written by Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson. So, let's warm up first. So, there are two pictures of nature. Write five adjectives for each picture. Which picture do you like more and why? So dear students, you can see that two pictures are there. One is of greenery and second is eruption, volcanic eruption is there. Need to find out five adjectives for them, right? So this activity you can do at your home. Now let's read this poem. It's a very beautiful poem written by Emily Dickinson. So basically, author says about in this poem nature, means she tells about nature, and she says that nature is like a real mother. As a real mother takes us care, so it happens with the nature. Nature also takes us care. So we need to study in which way nature takes us care. So let's read this. Firstly, we will recite it, then we will understand it line by line. Okay. Nature, the greatest mother, is impatient of no child, the feeblest or the waywardest, the admonition mild. In forest and the hill, by traveller be heard, restraining a rampant squirrel or too impetuous bird. How fair her conversation, a summer afternoon, her household, her assembly, and when the sun go down. Her voice among isles, inside the timid prayer of the minute cricket, the most unworthy flower. When all the children sleep, she turns as long away as will suffice to light her lamps, then bending from sky. With infinite affection and infinite care, her golden finger on her lip wills silence everywhere. Right? So this is a beautiful poem written by Emily Dickinson. So now, first of all, we will understand some difficult words are written here. We will understand these words. Let's come on the first word, that is admonition. Admonition means a firm warning, like scolding. Next is impetuous. Impetuous means likely to act rashly, means who is not easy to control. Next, aisles. Aisles means a long, narrow place or passage or way, we can say. Right? Now we will understand this poem. Please wait. Okay, let's start. Nature, the gentlest mother, is impatient of no child. The feeblest or the waywardest, her admonition mild. So, in this, author says that nature is calm and patient for her child, for her children. She is patient with the feeble or weakest and the strongest of them all. She does not discriminate among her children. Even her tone of admonition or scolding is mild or soft. Nature has been presented as caring mother who is devoted to her children and loves every single being that belongs to her without any discrimination. Second stanza, in the forest and the hill, by traveler be heard, restraining rampant squirrel or too impetuous bird. So in this, author says that motherly behavior in nature where she restrains her children like animals and birds among humans. Nature is present everywhere in the forest, as well as hills. The travelers means humans are also nature's children. But humans have a tendency to destroy more than nature. Therefore, we see that Mother Nature is hushing down and restraining the rampant squirrel and the daring birds so that humans do not harm them. Therefore, Mother Nature has to ensure that humans do not do something negatively impact on her children in the name of invention or exploration. The animals are said to have stopped making noise once the human approached. Come on, the third stanza. How fair her conversation. A summer afternoon, her household, her assembly, and when the sun go down. So, explanation of this is that in the third stanza, the focus is back on the nature when Emily praised the working of nature and all her aspects. Nature survives through every season and change. The words household and assembly hold strong point because nature is personified as a mother. The household means family members of here it means human. Therefore, like a mother's nature says to household, nature looks after her assembly of children. The last line of stanza gives meaning of ending of the day as the sun goes down. Next stanza, her voice among the isles, inside the timid prayer of the minute cricket, the most unworthy flower. So in this, author says that nature praise and acknowledge the voice of the smallest of creature, encourage the prayer, regardless of how unworthy or how important the creature might seem. It described nature's voice flowing between aisles. Aisles are normally in a church, which makes his mother seem like she is faithful to God. Nature voice is being described as if it's praying. She's praying for her children, which are listed below to what humans you would usually think as inferior, one of which is an unworthy flower. Dickinson stresses on ugly, unworthy flower in order to express the unconditional love of Mother Nature. Next page. When all the children sleep, she turns as long away as will suffice to light her lamps, then bending from sky. The first line describes that night when all her children are asleep. Her children means all the beings of the world, all human beings. Even when her children are asleep, she has other duties that she needs to take care of. Therefore, we see in the next three lines where nature is going to a long way in order to light her lamps for the next day. Light to lamp means to get the next day, getting back to the sun. Bending from the sky indicates the setting of the sun because the sun is setting. She will have to go a long way in order to get the light back in for the next day. The stanza shows the scene of the day ending and nature waiting for the next day to start. Last stanza, with infinite affection and infinite care, her golden finger on her lip wills silence everywhere. It means that the last stanza of the poem brings us to the end of the night, where this is sense of calm before the day begins again. With all her affection and boundless care, nature is seen to hush down her children with the finger on her lip and brings silence everywhere. When there is a time of sun, set sky is changed in the golden color. So The golden finger indicates the ideal mother who has the golden touch of calmly her children instantly and says to have rest. Right? So this is all about this beautiful poem. Now we will understand the question answer of this poem. Let's come on the question answer. Interpreting the poem, answer these questions. Our first question is that how does nature deal with the feeble, the wayward, and the children? Means we need to tell the behavior of nature with all the human beings, with all the creatures in the world. So I show you the answer key. So answer I have written there. So dear student, as I have made this answer key for you, the same you have to do in your notebook, which you are going to apply for all the subjects, right? So first of all, unit name, and poem name and poem number you need to mention. After that, you need to write the difficult words of that poem. The same with the black pen, you need to write the words, and with the blue pen, you have to write the meaning of those words. Then you have to start writing the question answer. Answer this question. First question is that how does nature deal with feeble, the wayward, and the children? So basically, we need to tell the behavior of nature. Nature deals with feeble, the wayward, and the children with mild scolding. Basically, we need to describe here the behavior of nature is same with everyone. Either that is strong or that is weak, it doesn't matter. Nature is same with everyone. Question number 2, why does nature have to restrain the animals and birds of forest? So in this question, this is asked that when anybody comes, means like any human being comes in a forest. So nature say to animals and birds to stop. Why it happens? Why does nature say like that? So answer we can write here. Nature has to restrain the animals and birds of the forest from impetuous behavior. Because basically answer we have written here, the behavior of humans are not up to the mark. Up to the mark means like their natures are quite destroying. So nature thinks that human being will destroy, will spoil, will kill animals and birds. That's why nature says them to keep quiet and keep mum. Third question, why do you think the words household and assembly have been used in connection with nature? So in this poem, household and assembly, household means we know that our family members, assembly means get together. So why these words have been used regarding the nature? So answer we need to write here, nature cares for all its creatures as one would care for family, hence it is referred to household. Means all the creatures are called household because as a family member or like a family like take care of all the family members. So same it happens, means like mother takes care of its family members, same it happens with nature. That's why all the creatures are called household. Nature speaks to or connects with the all creatures, with which is why they are called her assembly, which listens to her conversation. So nature has called it assembly because as mother says something and all the family members listen and come together, same it happens. All listen to the nature. That's why nature has called us all the creatures, either that's the birds, animals, or any human being, they are called assembly. Question number 5, why is nature's conversation fair? So we need to tell why it happens, why the conversation of nature is fair for everyone. So answer we need to write here. Nature's conversation is called fair because it is equally fair to everyone, right? Because like there is no bias, no discrimination. So it is fair for everyone. Next part, choose the right option to complete these sentences. So 4 options are here. Let's come back on that page. Wait, please, let me come back. Yes, please. Choose the right options to complete these sentences. The poem shows us that, so four options are here. Nature is benevolent to her children, means nature is beneficial for her children. Second, nature restrain her children amidst the human beings, means like nature stops her children like birds and animals among the human beings. Third, nature is represented as an ideal mother who cares for all. D part, all of the above. So we know that what is the right answer? D part, all of the above. Right. So this part also you have to do in your fair notebook, which you are going to apply one notebook for all subjects. Nature takes care of. Nature takes care of only large animals, the smallest of the insects and the ugliest of the flower, the hills and the trees, none of above. So we know that B part is right. Nature takes care of everyone, either that the smallest of insect and the ugliest of flower. It takes care of everything. Right? So in this answer key, as I have written, same you have to write in your notebook. Next, come on the C part. Read the lines and answer the question that follow. First question, her voice among the aisles inside the timid prayer. Explain this line. So meaning of this line is the lines show the nature is among all the creature and nature's prayer and protection is there even for the teeniest creatures and unworthy flowers. Means the prayer for the natures, for everyone. If we pray for God, if we pray to God and whatever we get, that is for us. But if nature prays, it is for everyone. The blessing of nature for everyone, right? Come on, the B part. Why has the word aisles been used here? Aisles word have been used here. What is the reason behind this? So answer is that aisles here refers to many pathways in nature for all the creatures. Aisles word has been used here because it means that passages, means streets, means like ways. So like in the nature, many ways are there in the like villages, in the cities, in the forest. So that's why this word had been used, like has been used here. Second question, with infinite affection and infinite care, her golden finger on her lip wills silence everywhere. What is meant by her golden finger? So basically, we need to tell why her golden finger. These words have been used here. Her golden finger refers to the arrival of sunset. So when sun sets, so you can see that the sky color is approximate golden. So this golden color refers to her golden finger. When golden color comes there, so it is indication that now we should take rest, means we should sleep. So that's why like nature is representing as a mother and it is hushing us like to get rest. B part, how and why does she will silence everywhere? So answer we need to write here. Will silence everywhere shows the end of the day and the approach of the silence restful night. Will silence everywhere means when the golden fingers comes, mean when the sunset happens. So it is the indication of we should rest, and it means everywhere is silence. Means everyone is asleep. That's why there is silence. C question: what trait or traits of nature do these lines reveals? What are the qualities are shown by these lines? These lines reveal the calming end of the day and start of the night and timely routine of nature that governs all life. So these lines show the calmly end, means end of the days very calmly because we sleep that. So it also shows that routine of the nature which governs our life. Next question. How does the poet show that nature takes care of all, including those that are not even noticed by anyone? Means we need to tell that how does the nature takes care, who is very weak person, who is a very feeble thing which is not easy to important, more like we can say which is not important things. So answer we can mention here, the poet shows that nature takes care of all by mentioning all these encompasses the hills and smallest creatures and even the flower that would not be noticed. So nature takes care of all the things, either that is important or unimportant. Second question, what feelings does the poet have about nature? Give reasons for your answer. The poet has a trusting and positive attitude towards the nature. She provides and nature's all unconditionally. Means nature loves is for everyone, and positive and trusting attitudes like a author has. Last question, discuss in class. Even though humans are nature's children, they tend to destroy more than nature can recoup. Explain the statement. So in this, the question is asked, human has tendency of spoiling the natures and nature get it back. Explain this statement. We have to explain this statement. So answer we have written here, humans tend to take more than what nature provides. Means humans have natures to get more from the nature. When man chops a few trees in a forest, the forest is able to recover its loss gradually in time. However, when the greed of man causes an entire forest to be chopped down for industrial purposes, nature can't recover its loss so quickly. This impacts the entire ecosystem and its dependent. Therefore, man should learn to take only what he needs. Otherwise, one day there will be nothing left and loss will be unrecoverable. So in this answer, we need to understand that it's a tendency of human being. Whatever we get, we think that it is not sufficient for us. We try to get more from nature. If we cut one tree, nature grows it again. But if we cut the entire forest, nature can't recover it. So we should remember this. We should not spoil the ecosystem. Otherwise, one day we will be in loss, right? So this is all about this poem. And now if you want to anything regarding this poem, regarding the question answer or anything else, then you can come forward, you can raise your hand